What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hollywood Interview Season 2. This is the premiere episode. We are here with Gaven Wilde. You might know him from Halloween Kills or the newest season of Righteous Gemstones.
Or the first season of Righteous Gemstones.
Or the first season.
There you go.
All right, Gaven, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Noah, how you doing?
I'm doing righteous today.
Righteous. Nice. That is hilarious. All right, man, Gaven, how did you get started in this wonderful film and television industry?
Well, just like everybody else my age, when I was 11, I wanted to be a YouTube star. And I made my own, cringy YouTube videos and posted them on YouTube. And I would literally just sit in front of a camera and talk about either random stories that have happened or just things that I found interesting. And one day a director, I guess, saw one of these videos and reached out and to my mom and was like, "Hey, does your kid want to be in a movie?" Mom asked me and I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want to be in a movie." So we went to Atlanta and we tried out for it. And surprisingly enough, the first thing that I ever auditioned for, I ended up booking. So I got on set and I don't know what it was. A lot of actors refer to it as getting bit by the bug. I just got bit by the bug. I loved being on set. There was a feeling about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do more of this. So over the years, we just kept on doing it. And I've been progressing from there.
That's how it was for us. We got that bug. It's just the first time on a set, we're like, yep, this is what we're doing the rest of our lives.
Because I was very passionate about baseball. I loved baseball. I mean, there was nothing that could get me away from that dream. And then I just was on set and I'm like, man, I like this more.
Right. It's a different world. It's amazing.
It is.
It's out of this world for sure.
And I apologize. I have a train that likes to run by my house every 30 minutes. So if that's what you guys can hear in the background, I'm sorry about that. It's been in the last 4 interviews I've done. I'm like, oh my gosh.
No, it's all right. I was born under a train.
No, really?
No. But wouldn't that be a cool story? Oh, and speaking of your cringy videos, here they are. No, we don't have your cringy.
There's a reason that they're deleted.
Yeah, you think so? The NSA, they know where they're at.
True, that's true. Is anything ever?
TMZ will find those videos. They'll find them.
I know, and man, I just have nightmares about those cringy videos and TMZ. Gaven Wilde. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to.
Let's roll into something I want to talk about. So let's actually switch hats for a moment. Literally. So I'm a huge baseball fan myself, man. Braves, diehard. I played baseball all my life, and I saw that about you. So tell me a little bit about that. So you wanted to be a baseball player. What was your position? And kind of, if you weren't bitten by the acting bug, would you still try to pursue a career in baseball?
I think I would. I started baseball I've been playing baseball since I was probably 3. Played it for a very, very long time. And I think I was always put in the outfield. There was nothing too special about me and what I could do until one day a ball got hit into the outfield and we were losing so bad. And I was 7 years old. And I just took the ball and I chucked it as hard as I could. And it made it all the way to home. And they were like, oh my God, this kid can actually throw.
Got an arm.
Yeah, he's got an arm. So they put me as a pitcher. And of course, I was awful. I sucked at it, but I had the arm for it. And I took some lessons. And over the years, I just got better and better. And I ended up kind of being either a pitcher or within the inner field because they realized, I was decent in the outfield, but I had a good arm to be in the infield.
Nice. Absolutely. See, that's perfect. That's all. Hey, Hollywood. That's like a story right there too. I mean, there's not enough of like, young kid sports movies anymore. Angels in the Outfield. Little Big League. All these. We need another
Yeah.
movie, right? But that's awesome, man. I mean, same thing for me. Put out in the outfield. Could throw. I was a pitcher. Third base was also good because if someone was coming into first, you could toss the ball pretty good. But favorite baseball team.
Oh, I think I gotta go with the Braves just because it's Atlanta.
Yes. So I'll take that $5. I'll slip you that $5 later for agreeing. Don't worry about that. That's off camera stuff right there.
Nice. Speaking of Atlanta, it looks like a lot of the stuff you work on is in Atlanta. Have you do you find that you're doing more work in the Atlanta area more than like LA or?
Dude, I have never been to LA. I've never even been on a plane. And as swear to God, true story. I got so lucky because when I first started acting, all I heard was we got to move to LA, we got to get an agent in LA, everything's in LA. But I really started acting right as the transitions was kind of not starting, but it was sort of midway. And I just got very, very lucky, man. And it's only getting better and better. Like only more stuff is coming this way. So I've yet to be in Los Angeles around it. I've not worked anywhere more than 4 or 5 hours away from me.
Nice. That's how it was for me. So back in 2015, I was living up in Minnesota, and I was like, well, do I go to LA to do the film stuff? But then I was like, well, hold on a minute. Why is Tyler Perry staying in Atlanta? Why is Danny McBride moving down to the area? And I started to see a trend that everyone was moving down here. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm glad I did. Because I've been to LA and it's so much better down here. And the film industry has literally come down here now. So we don't have to go back out there. It's great.
No, it's because that would have been a real life changer. It wouldn't have been too awful, but we've got so many. Wow, we just got a house full of kids, and like they're moving to LA, it would have been difficult. So I'm really glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, it's we love it down here. All right. So when you get a role, how do you prepare for the role?
Well, it really depends. I have gone through stages where I'm a maniac and I'll sit in my room and I'll read it over and over and over again. And I'll look up, I'll do research and I'll study somewhat. But I've learned over the years of acting, it's mainly a confidence thing. Confidence goes a long way. If you can just calm down, take a deep breath, and just let it be and not freak out over it, that could really go a long way. Not saying that studying is a bad thing or you shouldn't do it, but I would notice that I would get in my head about it and it would be more stress than it was worth. But it all depends. It all depends on the role.
That's excellent. I want to, if I can, dive a little bit deeper into that because either there's something called a cloning machine, and then you are just a clone of young Danny McBride. Literally, you are young Jesse Gemstone. That's some of the wildest. I bet I can't put you up on a pedestal enough, man. That's incredible. Or, you've done some sort of voodoo ritual to jump into his body. But what did you do? Like, did you watch a bunch of Danny stuff beforehand, or did you spend some time with him? How'd you become young Danny McBride?
Well, I watched all of Vice Principals and a little bit of Eastbound and Down. And I had known of Danny beforehand, before any of this, and I was already somewhat of a fan of him, as much as you could be at that age. And as soon as I got the opportunity, I'm like, I know who this guy is. I the Land of the Lost. I'm like, oh, the dude from the Land of the Lost. That was my favorite character. So I already had somewhat of an idea of what he was like, but we watched all of Vice Principals, and I pulled a lot from that. I didn't drive myself crazy with it. I just watched it, and I watched him, and I enjoyed the show. I didn't, pause it a whole bunch of times or anything of that nature. I just sort of kept an eye on him, and what I got from him the most was, okay, he's a man child. He's just a man baby. So if I can just be a man child, and I looked at it, something that was really, really helpful as well, is I looked at it as an impersonation. I wasn't trying to be Danny McBride. I was trying to impersonate him, and that made it a lot more fun. It's almost like doing an impression of Heath Ledger's Joker. You can't help but to, like, when you start doing his lines and his dialogue, you can't help but to not do the voice and then like start moving like him. It comes natural. So I looked at it mainly as an impression, and I feel like that's what made it a lot easier and a lot less stressful than most people would think it was.
That's excellent. Well said. That's perfect. He's cool dude. I see some great candid pictures with him and the actors. He seems to be a really down to earth kind of guy.
Awesome, man. Super genuine dude.
Sweet.
Oh
sweet.
yeah, for sure. Speaking of Righteous Gemstones, in last week's episode, you two shared kind of a scene together. Did you guys get to meet during the Christmas?
No, unfortunately.
Yes. We didn't. I didn't run into you.
I don't think so.
You're standing behind him in the scene. I didn't know if.
There was no hey, how's it going? There was no interaction, but I took a creepy video of him being the ultimate gentleman, holding a door open for everyone coming in and out because it was hot as a MFer.
Gosh.
Yeah.
No. And I wish we would have. I really wish we would have gotten to meet. I didn't know that you built all of the Christmas stuff. Like I remember getting there on the day of and going, wow, whoever built this is talented. This is amazing. Really, like not to blow smoke up your butt or anything. Like I really thought that. But yeah, and thank you for sending me that video, by the way. I cannot keep up with like the amount of photos and videos that my mom has taken of behind the scenes stuff.
Sure.
I don't have enough storage in my phone. So that was a good, nice video that I can just keep without having to send all the other stuff. But yeah, I don't think we ever got to meet, which sucks. But hey, there's always more. There's always more time.
Oh, that seems like a tease right there. You
Well,
guys better be paying attention. Whoa. Always more. Any opportunity. But yeah, I was able to, be background on that. And actually got I'm in 6 episodes as background in season 2. It's weird.
Yeah.
Back in time and the future, all over the place.
I see you a lot popping up in the background.
Yeah.
I got to be in 2 episodes, but it's I didn't get to work with either one of you either. It's depressing.
Always next time.
There's always next time. You know what? And I'll try to seek you out. I'll look for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I did the protester scenes. So I only got to work with Danny and Cassidy, and there was one scene with John. Actually, speaking of, how was it sitting around with John, Danny, and Walton? Was there a lot of improv going on?
Oh, dude. If there's something I love about Danny and David and just everybody on that set is they love improv. They love letting you have fun with it. And David would come up to me just back and forth, just giving me ideas. Like the donkey scene in the first season. That was all David. David literally came up to me and was like, okay, the main focus of this scene is sort of Judy, but you're still here. So what do you think, Jesse would be doing in the meantime? And I just wanted to play with the animals. There were so many animals on set. I just wanted to I'm just a big animal person. So I was like, I think Jesse would be playing with the animals. And he just got this smirk and he walked away. And then 5 minutes later, I was underneath a donkey. And like that guy's work. And it's awesome. There's always room for improv with Danny and David.
That's one of my favorite things, especially on that set, was when, you know, we'd have to break and they have to change sets around and stuff, just watching everybody do their lines, but they're not doing their lines. They're just making shit up. And
Yeah.
like, and a lot of times
Great.
that stuff is what ends up in the episode. So it's
Yep.
just, it's really fun to watch.
They're so
Yeah.
great. Eric, Andre also cracked me up so hard.
Yeah.
Oh
Dude,
my God, dude.
On the show, I was so excited. My sister got to meet him, but sadly I didn't. I had just gotten done watching his thing on Netflix. What is the name of it? It's like a comedy mixed with no, it's not Coach. I don't know what it is, but I just got done watching that and I was like, oh my, and then I found out he was on Jackass and I'm like, oh my God, like I cannot believe he's a part of this show now. And I was so mad that I didn't get to meet him, but he seems like an awesome dude.
Yeah, season 2, they brought in a lot of amazing
Yeah.
guests. I know when they brought Jason Schwartzman and like everyone was like, oh, I have to meet him, I have to work with him, but he only did like a few scenes, so no one really got to see him.
Yeah.
It's like, what a bummer.
I know they bring these amazing people on and yeah, sometimes, man, you just like the way things work and like with scheduling, it's like people don't understand, like even though you're kind of in the same show or maybe in the same season or even in the same episode, like sometimes you don't get to even meet these people, and that's just how it works. It's crazy.
No, for sure. Actually, the only time I ever got to see Noah on set is when we were taking our COVID tests.
True.
You were my COVID buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, what a
And
crazy world.
I always did my COVID test with all the muscle men, and it was always just so intimidating because it's like I'm just like this the whole time. Like, can this be done and can I leave?
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, good old times. No, you got a question for
Yeah. So I have can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah, I got
Okay, cool. My phone's crazy. Technology, man, you know, it's wild. So we're looking back at the things you've done. And you actually mentioned earlier the Michael Myers mask here. So I see you've done a lot of horror in your career. Do you love horror? Is that something you like? Or some people are like, I'll do horror, but it scares the shit out of me. So
yeah. It's crazy you asked that because I never realized how many horror things I did until I did an interview with Halloween Daily News. And he was just sitting there listing everything that was on my IMDb. And he was like, this is a horror, this is a horror, this is a horror. And I go, oh my God, I've really done a lot of horror stuff. Like, it was all unintentional. Like I don't necessarily, I love horror, but I don't really love it any more than I do anything else. It's all just been really unintentional and just random.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that's the kind of the testament of what's going on now. There's a lot of horror being, you know, Blumhouse. Can never say it right. Blumhouse. You tell me, Is it Blumhouse or Blumhouse?
It's Blumhouse.
I don't know. I've heard it pronounced Bloom. I've heard it pronounced Blum. I'm just too scared because I want them to keep me in the loop. So I'm just gonna be like, whatever you guys like.
He's like, yeah, I love working with Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Just the hard house part. Yeah.
Blumhouse, yes.
Blumhouse. Boom. What do you say? Blum. What is it with houses, man? Rough House, Blumhouse. It's great.
I know. There's so many.
But yeah, that's probably what it is. A lot of horror stuff going on. So to sort of piggyback off that, what's a genre that you sort of want to pursue in your career that you've not gotten a chance to currently?
I would probably say, maybe like an action or adventure, something. I cannot wait for the Uncharted movie to come out. I would love to be in something like that, where I'm just like the action hero and I'm
Right.
shooting guns and jumping off of things. Which, don't get me wrong, I mean, comedy and horror, like those are a blast too. But something I haven't experienced is like the action side of things. So I would love to do that.
Well, you
Yeah.
are a Southern-based actor out of Atlanta, and that's where they shoot all the MCU. Would you want to do a Marvel project?
Oh my God, I would love to do a Marvel project. Man, and it's crazy because you get auditions for stuff all the time. But it's just, you never know. You never know if they're looking for somebody who's a little bit shorter, a little bit taller, like they're so specific. So you see these opportunities all the time, but you never get to pursue them. And yeah, I would absolutely love to be in a Marvel movie. I can't tell you how many auditions I've gotten, and I'm like, please let this be the one.
Yeah, it would be. We all would love to do an MCU. That's like the dream, to get that call, to look
Oh,
down at your phone and it's like, "Hey, James Gunn's calling me. Taika Waititi's calling me."
a wall on that
Sam
set.
Raimi is calling me. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so epic.
I pee my pants. I have to buy new pants. I could buy 1,000 pants because
Yeah.
I'm in a Marvel movie, but I would ruin the first pair. Whew.
Right. All right. So you are part of a Halloween slasher dynasty, and how was it getting to be in Halloween Kills?
Man, I didn't dream in my dreams that it still hasn't set in, and I don't think it ever will, which is kind of, it's in a way it's sad, but then in another way it's not. Like, I still to this day don't know how to think about it, because I grew up watching, the original Halloween movies, but also Chucky and Jason versus Freddy and Freddy Krueger, like all of that stuff. Me, my cousin, and my brother would just sit and watch those movies over and over and back to back again. So to be a part of such a franchise, to even be in the film for a second, was an absolute honor. And dude, I really don't know how to answer your question, because it still hasn't fully sunk in yet.
It's yeah, honestly, that's how I felt getting to work with John Goodman. I grew up watching him, and like, that's Dan Connor. And the first day I met him, I didn't know how to like, it's like I forgot how to breathe. so, so that's, I totally get that.
For real. That's the same thing. I mean, like meeting Danny for the first time. Kenny fucking Powers. For real. Like I remember being Kenny fucking Powers, dude. You're watching that show with your dudes, your buds, man, and all of a sudden there it is. And same thing with when I got to work with Woody Harrelson on 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Woody and Sam Rockwell, Francis McDormand, all these people. Like, I'll never, even if I get to just do background for the rest of my life, just being in the presence of these folks are just inspiring. And man, Mr. Wilde, you inspire me too, man. Honestly.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I really am no one special. Like, people.
No, you are special. Don't sell yourself short, dude. You are, man. You are.
Dude, you're killing it.
Well, thank you, man.
Like,
and I try. That's insane. But
speaking of, you've got a couple projects coming up here. How was working on the Stalker Part 2?
Oh man, that film was super awesome. It's so we did the Stalker 1, and we filmed that, and it came out, and it won a bunch of film festivals, and it was a pretty good movie, and I got to film it with people that I had been working with for since the beginning. Chad Ayers, been working with him since the beginning of my career, and some of these other people that I've just been working with since the beginning of my career. And the Stalker 2 was an opportunity to pretty much do it all over again. And we got the DP that is associated with it, Connor Pinnell. Because I'm just as into like the filmmaking as I am acting. I probably annoyed him with how many compliments that I gave him about his his cinematography. Like I cannot wait for that film to come out, because it was a blast, and man, it's gonna look beautiful.
That's awesome. And rolling into the next question, do you see yourself stepping behind the camera someday, or?
Absolutely, 100%, man. I already, that's part of why I got into back to the YouTube channel. That's part of why I wanted to do this. I was just as fascinated with, in particular, visual effects. I loved. There was a YouTube channel, Raka Raka, and
Yep. Remember those guys?
yeah, and I just remember watching them, and I was like, oh my God, these guys are crazy. And I saw it was all visual effects, and I'm like, I want to do that stuff. So really, I started this whole just career path. I guess you could say intending to be behind the camera, but it sort of led to being in front.
Awesome. Well, Gavin, we have loved having you, man, and we hope that you'll come back with us. Before you go, tell the folks, what do you got coming up? What are you working on next?
Well, we were supposed to be shooting it in February, but sadly we had to push it off to March. But it is a project that is really important to me called Primal Taste. It's something that I'm doing by myself. Me and a few buddies of mine wrote it together, and it's about a cannibal that is kind of the boogeyman of a southern town, and a detective, after another person from that town goes missing, starts to put the pieces together. And eventually at the end of the movie, he finds something out that he really wished he wouldn't have found out. And it goes a lot deeper than they might have ever wanted it to, or thought it would. But we're working on that. We're trying to get that shot. We're still in pre-production, but yeah, that's about all I got for the things that I would like to plug and I'm working on.
That's awesome. Well, y'all, thanks for joining Noah, me, and Gavin on Hollywood Interviews. You can catch Gavin here on Righteous Gemstones Season 2, currently on HBO Max.